Hey Raiders fans, we're back with an exclusive video and the latest updates on our beloved Las Vegas Raiders. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. That way, you'll always stay up to date with breaking news and exclusive content. The buzz around the Raiders has taken on a completely different tone lately, and when you listen closely to the whispers coming out of the building and from people who swear they know what is happening behind the scenes, one name keeps floating to the surface with an almost mythical weight. Sauce Gardner. The rumor spreading like wildfire is that the Raiders have not just added a talented defensive back, but that they have quietly landed the kind of defensive cornerstone that changes how opponents prepare all week. People close to the situation say the coaching staff is absolutely fascinated by how Sauce carries himself, how he talks football like someone who sees the field from above, and how his confidence feels contagious. This is not being framed as a simple roster move, but as the beginning of a new defensive identity. The speculation is that the Raiders believe Sauce is the type of presence who can turn a shaky unit into something feared, someone who forces quarterbacks to hesitate just long enough for chaos to unfold. When you hear insiders speak, they do not sound cautious. They sound almost giddy, like they know something the rest of the league has not fully processed yet. And that is what makes this rumor so intoxicating for fans who have been waiting for a true defensive face. What really fuels this speculation is how people describe the early impression Sauce Gardner is supposedly making in the Raiders' environment. The stories paint a picture of a defender who does not just react, but dictates, someone who brings an edge that feels natural rather than forced. According to the whispers, teammates are already talking about how his confidence in coverage seems to free everyone else to play faster, almost like the defense collectively exhales when he is on the field. There is this idea floating around that the Raiders have been craving a player who embodies swagger without recklessness, and Sauce fits that image perfectly. Rumor has it that coaches love how he studies tendencies, how he asks questions that reveal a deeper understanding of route concepts and quarterback psychology. This is not just about athleticism, even though his physical traits are constantly mentioned in hushed admiration. The speculation leans into the belief that Sauce might become the kind of defender offenses scheme away from, which in turn opens opportunities for the rest of the unit to feast. Fans listening to these rumors start imagining a defense that feels alive again, one that feeds off energy and belief, and Sauce Gardner is being framed as the spark that lights that fire. Another layer of this rumor mill revolves around how Sauce Gardner's personality supposedly meshes with the Raiders' culture, or at least the culture they're trying to build. The talk is that his competitive nature aligns perfectly with the gritty, rebellious image the franchise has always embraced, but with a modern twist that resonates with younger players. People claim he brings an infectious confidence that does not cross into arrogance, and that matters in a locker room trying to find its emotional leader on defense. The speculation suggests that Sauce is not content with simply locking down his side of the field, but wants to challenge receivers mentally, bait quarterbacks, and set traps that change momentum. There are even murmurs that his presence has already elevated the intensity of practices, with receivers forced to sharpen their routes just to survive the reps. This is the kind of rumor that paints him as more than a player, but as a tone setter. For Raiders fans who have longed for a defender who embodies intimidation without cheap shots, the idea of Sauce Gardner wearing silver and black feels almost poetic, like a long overdue reunion between style and substance. The speculation does not stop at the locker room, because many are already imagining the ripple effects Sauce Gardner could have on the Raiders' broader defensive scheme. The whispers suggest that the coaching staff feels liberated, able to be more creative and aggressive because they trust him to handle the toughest assignments. There's talk of disguises, of late rotations, of pressure packages that suddenly become viable because one side of the field feels secure. People say that Sauce's rumored ability to erase top receivers allows safeties to cheat, linebackers to attack downhill, and pass rushers to hunt with less hesitation. This kind of defensive domino effect is what turns a good unit into a nightmare matchup. The speculation frames Sauce as the keystone, the piece that holds everything together. When fans hear this, They do not just picture pass breakups or interceptions. They imagine a defense that controls the rhythm of games, that dictates tempo. It is all rumor, of course, but it is the kind of rumor that feels grounded in football logic rather than wishful thinking. That is why it resonates so strongly with a fan base desperate for a defensive revival. There is also a growing narrative that Sauce Gardner's arrival could reshape how the Raiders are perceived around the league, especially among offensive coordinators. The whispers imply that teams might start circling Raiders games with a different level of caution, knowing that one mistake in coverage could swing momentum instantly. People speculate that Sauce has the kind of reputation that travels ahead of him, forcing quarterbacks to second-guess throws they would normally make without thinking. This rumor paints him as a psychological weapon as much as a physical one. When fans latch onto this idea, it sparks memories of legendary defenders who made offenses uncomfortable simply by existing on the field. The speculation goes even further, suggesting that Sauce could become the face of highlight reels and viral clips, not because of flashy celebrations, but because of perfectly timed reads and suffocating coverage. That kind of exposure, people say, changes how a franchise is talked about nationally. It turns the Raiders from a team trying to catch up into a team that demands respect. All of this is whispered, hinted at, never officially confirmed, which only adds fuel to the excitement. As this first wave of speculation swirls, the overarching feeling is that the Raiders may have stumbled into something special, something that goes beyond a single season or a single matchup. The rumor mill frames Sauce Gardner as a long-term answer, a player around whom defensive philosophies can be built and sustained. Fans who tune into these whispered narratives start dreaming bigger, not about individual accolades, but about an identity shift. They imagine a defense that embodies confidence, discipline, and intimidation all at once. The speculation suggests that Sauce understands the weight of expectations and welcomes it, seeing pressure as fuel rather than burden. This kind of mindset is what separates good players from transformative ones. As people talk, the story grows, evolving from a simple rumor into a shared belief that something meaningful is happening in Raiders land. Whether or not every detail proves true, the idea that Sauce Gardner could be the new defensive star feels powerful, because it taps into a deep hunger for change and pride. As the conversation moves deeper into the second part of this rumor, the tone shifts from excitement to almost philosophical speculation about what Sauce Gardner could symbolize for the Raiders moving forward. The whispers suggest that his presence represents a turning point, a moment where the franchise stops patching holes and starts laying foundations. People close to the team allegedly see him as a player who understands legacy, who knows that wearing these colors comes with expectations that go beyond personal success. This rumor frames Sauce as someone who wants to be remembered as a standard bearer, not just another name on a depth chart. Fans listening to this talk begin to connect dots, imagining how a dominant defensive back can influence draft priorities, free agent decisions, and even the mindset of young players entering the building. The speculation suggests that Sauce's approach to preparation and competition could become the blueprint for what the Raiders demand from defenders in the future. It is a powerful idea, one that turns a single acquisition into a cultural statement. That is why this rumor has legs, because it speaks to something deeper than wins or losses. Another layer of speculation focuses on how Sauce Gardner's confidence might empower the Raiders to lean into a more aggressive, almost confrontational defensive philosophy. The whispers describe a team that no longer wants to react, but to provoke, to challenge offenses, to prove themselves snap after snap. People say that Sauce thrives in those moments, that he relishes the mental chess match between corner and receiver. This rumor suggests that his presence could embolden coaches to trust their instincts, to call defenses that put pressure on quarterbacks rather than sitting back in fear. Fans eat this up because it aligns with the Raiders' historic image of defiance and edge. The idea of a defender who invites the challenge, who wants the toughest assignment every time, feels like a throwback in the best way. The speculation paints Sauce as someone who does not just accept responsibility, but seeks it out, understanding that greatness often lives on the edge of risk. This kind of narrative turns him into a symbol of courage, something Raiders fans deeply value. There's also very speculative talk, about how Sauce Gardner could influence the emotional resilience of the Raiders' defense during adversity. The whispers suggest that when momentum swings, his calm demeanor and unshakable belief could serve as an anchor. People claim he has a way of resetting after a tough play, of immediately refocusing and demanding the same from those around him. This rumor frames him as a stabilizing force, someone who understands that defensive excellence is as much about mental toughness as physical skill. Fans who have watched defenses unravel in the past latch onto this idea with hope. They imagine a unit that no longer fractures under pressure, but instead tightens, feeding off the confidence of its leader. The speculation suggests that Sauce does not dwell on mistakes, but uses them as information, adjusting on the fly. That kind of adaptability is rare, and if the rumors are even partially true, it could redefine how the Raiders handle high-stress moments. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The conversation also drifts toward the potential ripple effect Sauce Gardner could have on the Raiders fan base itself. The whispers hint that his style of play, his swagger balanced with discipline, could reignite a sense of pride and anticipation that has been dormant. People speculate that fans will come to games expecting defensive dominance, celebrating lockdown coverage with the same passion usually reserved for offensive fireworks. This rumor suggests a shift in emotional investment, where defense becomes the heartbeat of the team. For a franchise with such a storied past, this feels almost nostalgic yet refreshingly new. The idea of a defender becoming a jersey favorite, a symbol of toughness and intelligence, resonates deeply. Fans imagine teaching younger generations about the importance of defense, pointing to Sauce Gardner as the example. Even though this is all speculative, it speaks to the power of belief and storytelling in sports. When a player captures the imagination, reality often follows perception. As the speculation continues, some whispers even hint at how Sauce Gardner's presence could impact how free agents view the Raiders. The rumors suggest that elite defenders want to play alongside other elite defenders, that confidence breeds confidence. People say that seeing a player like Sauce commit fully and thrive could make the Raiders a more attractive destination for those who value competitive environments. This narrative frames Sauce as a recruiter by example, someone whose professionalism and intensity send a message to the rest of the league. Fans love this idea because it suggests sustainability, not just a flash of excitement. The speculation paints a picture of a defense that grows organically around a core of shared values. Even if this remains rumor, it highlights the potential long-term implications of having a player who embodies what the franchise wants to become. In the end, this swirling cloud of rumor and speculation around Sauce Gardner and the Raiders feels less like idle chatter and more like collective dreaming grounded in football logic. People are not just saying he is talented, they are imagining how his presence could alter trajectories, mindsets, and identities. The whispers frame him as the new defensive star, not because of what has already happened, but because of what could happen if belief meets preparation. Fans listening to this narrative find themselves leaning in, wanting to be part of the moment when potential turns into reality. Whether these rumors prove prophetic or exaggerated, they reveal a hunger for leadership, swagger, and defensive excellence. Sauce Gardner, in this speculative story, becomes more than a name. He becomes a symbol of hope, defiance, and a future where the Raiders' defense once again demands attention and respect. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.